Shalom and welcome to Torah and Coffee. Today, the Torah portion is found in Exodus 21 through Exodus 24:18. So, I hope you will enjoy today's Torah portion with coffee. So grab your Bibles, sit back, and enjoy. Hey, I've got my coffee right here, see? Yes, sir. Torah portion and coffee. Let's start reading. Exodus 21, verse 1. There are the rules that you should set before them. When you acquire a Hebrew slave, he shall serve 6 years. In the 7th year, he shall go free without payment. If he came single, he shall leave single. If he had a wife, his wife shall leave with him. If his master gave him a wife, and she has borne him children, the wife and her children shall belong to the master, and he shall leave him alone. 5. But if the slave declares, I love my master and my wife and children, I do not wish to go free, his master shall take him before Yah. He shall be brought to the door or the doorpost, and his master shall pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall then remain his slave for life. When a man sells his daughter as a slave, she shall not be fed as male slaves are. If she approves to be displeasing to her master, who designated her for himself, he must let her be redeemed. He shall not have the right to sell her to outsiders, since he broke faith with her. And if he designated her for his son, he shall deal with her as is the practice with free maidens. 10. If he marries another, he must not withhold from this one her food or clothing or her conjugal rights. If he fails her in those 3 ways, she shall go free without payment. He who fatally strikes a man shall be put to death. If he did not do it by design, but it came about by an act of Yah, I will assign you a place to which you can flee. When a man schemes against another and kills him treacherously, he shall take him from my very Mizpah to be put to death. He who strikes his father or his mother shall be put to death. He who kidnaps a man, whether he have sold him or is still holding him, shall be put to death. He who insults his father or his mother shall be put to death. When a man quarrels and one strikes the other with stone or fist, and he does not die, but has to take to his bed, if he then get up and walk outdoors upon his staff, the assault shall be unpunished, except that he must pay for his idleness and his cure. When a man strikes his slave, male or female, with a rod, and he dies there, and then he must be avenged. 21. But if he survives a day or 2, he is not to be avenged, since he is the other's property. When men fight and one of them pushes a pregnant woman and a miscarriage results, but no other damage ensures, the one responsible of the fine, according as the woman's husband may exact for him, the payment to be based on reckoning. But if the other damage ensues, the penalty shall be life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise. When a man strikes the eye of a slave, male or female, and destroys it, he shall let him go free on account of an eye. If he knocks out a tooth of a slave, male or female, he shall let him go free on account of his tooth. When an ox goes a man or a woman to death, the ox shall be stoned, and his flesh shall not be eaten. But the owner of the ox is not to be punished. If, however, the ox has been in the habit of going, and its owner, for want, has failed to guard it, and it kills a man or woman, the ox shall be stoned, and its owner, they too shall be put to death. Excuse me. 30. If a ransom is laid upon him, he must pay whatever is laid upon him to redeem his life. So too, if it goes a minor, male or female, the owner shall be dealt with according to the same rule. But if the ox goes a slave, male or female, he shall pay 30 shekels of silver of the matter, and the ox shall be stoned. When a man opens a pit or dig a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or an ass fall into it, the one responsible for the pit must make restitution. He shall pay the price to the owner, but shall keep the dead animal. 35. When a man's ox injures his neighbor's ox, and he dies, they shall sell the live ox and divide the price. They shall also divide the dead animal. If, however, it is known that the ox was in the habit of going, and its owner has failed to guard it, he must restore ox for ox, but shall keep the dead animal. When the man steals an ox or a sheep, and slaughters it or sells it, he shall pay 5 oxen for the ox and 4 sheep for the sheep. Chapter 22, verse 1. If a thief is seized by tunneling and he is beaten to death, there is no blood guilt in his case. If the sun has risen on him, there is blood guilt in that case. He must make restitution. If he lacks the means, he shall be sold for his theft. But if what he stole, whether ox or ass or sheep, is found alive in his possession, he shall pay double. When the man lets its livestock loose to graze in another's land, and so allows a field or a vineyard to be grazed bare, he must make restitution for the impairment of the field or vineyard. 5. When the fire is started and spreads to thorns, so that standing or growing grain is consumed, or who started the fire must make restitution. When a man gives money or good to another for safekeeping, and they are stolen from the man's house, if the thief is caught, he shall pay double. If the thief is not caught, the owner of the house shall depose before Yah that he has not laid hands on the other's property. In all of his misappropriation, pertaining to an ox, an ass, a sheep, a garment, or any other loss, whether one party alleges that it is not the case of both parties, shall come before Yah. He whom Yah declares guilty shall pay double to the other. When a man gives to another an ass, an ox, a sheep, or any other animal to God, and he dies, or is injured, or is carried off with no witnesses about, 10. Then an oath before Yah shall decide between the two of them that the one has not laid hands on the property of the other. The owner must acquit, and no restitution shall be made. But if the animal was stolen from him, he shall make restitution to its owner. If it was torn by beasts, he shall bring it as evidence. He need not replace what has been torn by the beasts. When a man borrows an animal from another, and he dies or is injured, its owner not being with him, he must make restitution. If the owner was with it, no restitution be made. But if it was hired, he is entitled to the hire. 15. If a man seduces a virgin for whom the bride price has not been paid, and lies with her, he must make her his wife by payment of a bride price. If her father refuses to give her to him, he must still weigh out silver in accordance with the bride price for virgins. You shall not tolerate a sorceress. Whoever lies with a beast shall be put to death. Whoever sacrifices to a god other than Yah alone shall be proscribed. 20. You shall not wrong a stranger who oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Let me read that 20 again. You shall not wrong a stranger who oppress him, for you were once strangers in the land of Egypt. You shall not ill-treat any widow or orphan. If you do mistreat them, I will heed the outcry as soon as they cry out to me. And my anger shall blaze forth, and I will put you to the sword, and your own wives shall become widows, and your children orphans. If you lend money to my people, to the poor among you, do not act toward them as a creditor. Exact no interest from them. If you take your neighbor's garment in pledge, you must return it to him before the sun sets. It is his only clothing, the sole covering for his skin, and what else shall he sleep? Therefore, if he cries out to me, I will pay heed, for I am compassionate. You shall not revile Yah, nor put a curse upon a chieftain among your people. You shall not put off the skimming of the first yield of your vats. You shall give me the firstborn among your sons. You shall do the same with your cattle and your flocks. 7 days it shall remain with his mother, and the 8th day you shall give it to me. You shall be holy people to me. You must not eat torn flesh by beasts in the field. You shall cast it to the dogs. 23. 1. You must not carry false rumors. You shall not join hands with the guilty to act as a malice witness. You shall neither side with the mighty to do wrong. You shall not give perverse testimony in a dispute so as to pervert it in favor of the mighty. You shall not, nor shall you show defense to a poor man in his dispute. When you encounter your enemy's ox or ass wandering, you must take it back to him. When you see the ass of your enemy lying under a burden, you would refrain from raising it. You must nevertheless raise it with him. You shall not subvert the rights of your needy in their dispute. Keep far from the false charge. Do not bring death on those who are innocent and in the right, for I will not acquit the wrongdoer. Do not take bribes, for bribes blind the clear, sighted and upset the pleas of those who are in the right. You shall not oppress a stranger, for you know the feelings of a stranger, having yourselves been strangers in the land of Egypt. 10. 6 years you shall sow your land, and gather in it its yield. But on the 7th you shall let it rest, and lie fallow. Let the needy among the people eat of it, and what they leave let the wild beasts eat. You shall do the same with your vineyard and your olive groves. 6 days you shall do your work, but on the 7th day you shall cease from labor, in order that your ox and your ass might rest, and that your bondman and stranger may be refreshed. Be on guard concerning all that I have told you. Make no mention of the names of other gods. They shall not be heard on your lips. 3 times a year you shall hold a festival for me. You shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, eating unleavened bread for 7 days, as I have commanded you, at the same time in the month of Abib, for in it you went forth from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty-handed. And on the feast of harvest, of the first fruit of your work, for what you sow in the field, and the feast of ingathering, it shall at the end of the year, when you gather in the results of your work from the field. 3 times a year you shall your males. 3 times a year your male shall appear before the sovereign. Yeah. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with anything leavened, and the fat of my festal offering shall not be left lying until morning. The choice first fruits of your soil you shall bring to the house of Yah your God. You shall not boil a kid in its mother's milk. 20. I am sending an angel before you to guide you on the way, and to bring you to the place that I have made ready. Pay heed to him and obey him. Do not defy him, for he will not pardon your offenses, since my name is in him. But if you obey him and do all that I say, I will be an enemy to your enemies and a foe to your foes. When my angel goes before you and brings you to the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, and the Canaanites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I annihilate them. You shall not bow down to other gods on worship or follow their practices. Read this again. You shall not bow down to other gods in worship or follow their practices, but shall tear them down and smash their pillars to bits. 25. You shall serve God, Yah, your God, and he will bless you, your bread and your water, and I will remove sickness from your midst. No woman in your land shall miscarry or be barren. I will let you enjoy the full count of your days. I will send forth my terror before you, and I will throw into panic all the people among whom come, and I will make all your enemies turn tail before you. I will send a plague ahead of you, and it shall drive out before you the Hivites, the Canaanites, and the Hittites. I will not drive them out before you in the single day, lest the land become desolate and the wild beasts multiply to your herd. 30. I will drive them out before you little by little until you have an increase and possesses the land. I will drive them out before you a little by little until you have increased and possessed the land. I will set your borders from the Sea of Reeds to the Sea of Philistia, and from the wilderness to the Euphrates, for I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hands, and you will drive them out before you. You will make no covenant with them and their gods. They shall not remain in your land, lest they cause you to sin against me, for you will serve their gods, and it will prove a snare to you. Oh, thank you, Lord. "24. Then he said to Moshe, Come up to Yah with Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 elders of Israel, and bow low from afar. Moshe alone shall come near Yah, but the others shall not come near, nor shall the people come up with them. Moshe alone shall come near Yah, but the others shall not come near, nor shall the people come up with him. Moshe went and prepared to the people all the commands that Yah and all the rules, and all the people answered with one voice, saying, All the things that Yah has commanded we will do. Moshe then wrote down all the commands from Yah. Early in the morning he set up a mizpah, or an altar, at the front of the mountain, with 12 pillars of the 12 tribes of Israel. 5. He designated some young men among the Israelites, and they offered burnt offering and sacrificed bulls as offerings of well-being to Yah. Moshe took one part of the blood and put it in the basin. The other part of the blood he dashed against the mizpah. In other words, he dashed against the altar. Then he took the record of the covenant and read it out loud to the people, and they said, All that Yah has spoken, we will faithfully do. Moshe took the blood and dashed it upon the people and said, It is the blood of the covenant that Yah now makes with you concerning all these commands. Then Moshe and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 elders of Israel ascended. And they saw God of Israel. Under his feet there was the likeness of a pavement of sapphire, like the fair sky for purity. Yet he did not raise his hand against the leaders of the Israelites. They beheld Yah, and they ate and drank. Yah said to Moshe, "Come up to me on the mountain and wait there, and I will give you the stone tablets with the teaching and commandments which I have inscribed to instruct them." So Moshe has attended Yahushua. So Moshe and his attendants, Yahushua, arose, and Moshe ascended the mountain of Yah. To the elders he said, "Wait here for us until we return to you. You have Aaron and Hur with you. Let anyone who has legal matter approach them." 15. Then Moshe had ascended the mountain of God. The cloud covered the mountain. The presence of Yah abode on Har Sinai, and the cloud hid it for 6 days. On the 7th day he called to Moshe from the midst of the cloud. Now the presence of Yah appeared in the sight of the Israelites as the consuming fire on the top of the mountain. Moshe went inside the cloud and ascended the mountain, and Moshe remained on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. This concludes the reading of Torah and coffee in the book of Exodus. I hope you enjoyed it and will join me again next week to Torah and coffee. Thank you and shalom.